You can't say, I mean, a lawsuit.
Well, I just think that there are so many of these lawsuits, especially in the world of aviation.
We're back with Art Griego. This is the Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686. We're talking to Art Griego. Art is a private pilot. And if you didn't see the news, a woman whose husband died in the crash of a Singapore Airlines plane last month has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the airline Tuesday in federal court. In the lawsuit...
Right there, Phil. That's what bothers me.
What bothers you?
Well, the notion of wrongful death in aviation. Let me tell you something. Phil, I got a problem with wrongful death lawsuit because wrongful death in the world of aviation doesn't really exist. I've been a pilot for some 20 years. I fly private craft. I've had licenses for variable gear landing gear planes. There's something that I put my faith in, Phil. And I would ask you, what do you think that is?
What do I think? You put your faith in God?
Not exactly. I put my faith in a little thing called God's will. God's will is my will, and I have been in aircraft that have had engine fires. I have been...
No, wait a minute. Are you saying that you do not believe in suing? Are you saying that this woman should not sue Singapore Air?
I'm saying that in the world of aviation, there is no such thing as wrongful death. All deaths in aviation, I believe, especially in aviation, because it is such a dangerous thing, are ordained by the will of God. I'll tell you something, a secret. I've been in planes that have had engine fires. I've been in aircraft that have had to do emergency landings. I had to jump from an aircraft that was out of control. And
you mentioned this. You had to jump from an aircraft?
You better believe it. That was in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in 1987.
What was going on?
I was in a civilian training program. We were in a Piper Malibu Mirage. We were on our final approach. We were coming in to make a landing on the runway. The plane had run out of gas, and the pilot was unconscious due to a diabetic coma.
Oh, my God.
That's right. And I timed my jump. I'll tell you, the pilot blacked out just as the plane was passing over the end of the runway, 30 feet up in the air, and I bailed out right into an open, marshy area. It was over out near a swampy area, 30 feet up. I broke my collarbone and I broke my leg, but I'll tell you something, and I thank God I lived. And
what happened to the plane?
The Piper hit the runway. It started to cartwheel and burst into flames, and God rest his soul, the pilot died.
Who else?
We were the only two on the plane. And
you guys were the only two on the plane?
Yeah, I didn't...
Well, why didn't you take the yoke? If this pilot was unconscious...
I made a judgment call, Phil.
No, you got a pilot who's unconscious, and you're about to crash?
I made a judgment call.
What do you mean?
I was not licensed for fixed gear. I was not licensed for that plane, so I made a judgment call. I decided I'd have to jump and hope that he came out of his...
Well, what are the odds that a guy is going to come out of a diabetic coma 30 feet off of the runway?
I don't know, Phil. But when you're in a situation like that, you make a judgment call. And what I'm saying to you is there's nothing I could have done. That guy's number was up. It was over. It was all over. And the only thing left for me to do was to grab a hold, and excuse my language, but grab a hold of my ass and jump. And I will tell you I tell you that story to illustrate it. But
well, what you're saying to me is that in the aviation, and thank God you're alive, who was this poor guy?
Well, I was a great guy by the name of Ned Compton. He was a pilot that I flew a lot with, and Ned blacked out, and I looked at him, and I saw the approaching runway.
And you didn't grab the yoke of the plane to try to pull it out?
I was not licensed for that type of aircraft. I was only licensed for fixed gear, and I hadn't checked out of that plane.
So you jumped?
Well, I don't understand. It sounds like you're trying to indict me for something.
No, I'm just saying, you jumped out of a perfectly good air. You jumped 30 feet.
I wasn't licensed. And if you fly, which you don't, is that correct?
No, I'm not a pilot, no.
All right, if you don't fly, let me tell you something, mister. You fly without a proper license, and you're in some very, very, very serious trouble with the FAA. They don't like it. Okay? I wasn't about to grab the yoke of that plane, and I wasn't about to jeopardize my rating. And
so you took your chances by jumping out of the plane, and this poor guy is going to die.
As I said, Phil, and I tell that story to, when your time is up, your time is up. You can't go blaming Pilot Air and suing. And if that woman who is suing Singapore Air, if that lady's husband was alive today, okay, I believe that he would say to her, honey, don't sue. I want to be remembered as a man. And not as a guy that was just suing an airline. Because, Phil, I would tell you...
Well, look, the woman is suing.
No, but I would tell you this, Phil. If you have a relative who's going to go flying on a long trip today or tomorrow, I would say to that person, give them an extra long hug, because there's a good chance that they will not come back alive, that you may not see them again.
Well, I know that flying is dangerous, but you make it sound like...
It is dangerous, and when your number's up, your number's up, and that no wrongful death lawsuit is going to get you any money and make it any different. You know, the next time you see your relative, they may be in a makeshift mortuary in a high school gymnasium because they've pulled them out of a cornfield. Okay, because the hydraulics went out, or because the lifters went wrong, or because there was pilot error, or because it was hijacked. And the next thing you know, they are pulling your relative out of a cornfield, putting them on a gurney, and putting them in a...
Okay, I got it already.
I'm sorry?
I got it.
Well, you understand?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I don't think you have to spell it out for me.
But Phil, what I'm saying is every commercial airline passenger is just one step away. Just one spilt cup of coffee, just one take your eyes off of the automatic pilot, just one moment away from being pulled out of a corn row and put in...
I know, a makeshift mortuary in a high school gymnasium. I got that.
Yeah, but I don't think you understand it.
Well, here's what I don't understand. You're saying that if you fly, there's no such thing as wrongful death.
No, there is not.
Because it's the will of God.
It is the will of God, yes.
All right. I could tell you that about everything. I could say that when I step out the door, it's the will of God.
No, it is not. Here's the difference. Here's the difference. In life, when you're on the ground, you're walking around, you have control of your life. Up in the air, you don't. It's the will of God as to whether that thing flies or not. It has nothing more to do than whether God got out of bed on the right side that morning and whether he wants you to live or, and forgive me for being redundant, he wants to have your body pulled from a corn grove and
put into a makeshift mortuary in a high school gymnasium.
That is correct.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Here is Art on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello, Art.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, sir.
I kind
You're
of
on
disagree
with Art
about,
Griego?
Huh?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of feel that that pilot in Singapore was on the wrong runway, and that's not an act of God. That's
well, no, but I'm
ignorance.
saying that's just the way his number was up. See what I'm saying? And how can you sue for wrongful death when you're in an aircraft and your number's up? Your number's up.
Oh, I don't follow that. You lose a motor, an engine falls out of a plane.
That's how could you keep
it wasn't
that
put
from
in
happening?
properly when it was overhauled.
Well, first of all, the pilot on that Singapore aircraft was an Asian.
Doesn't matter.
I guess it does matter because, as you know, their eyes are constructed differently from ours. They have a much harder time seeing when it is raining.
Yeah.
All right, and that's all I'm saying. So, in other words, you can't blame the pilot because his eyes are constructed differently.
Wait a minute. What are you saying? Because he has the typical Asian eyes?
That they are much more heavily lidded, and it's difficult for them to see on a rainy night.
Well, it may not have been him. It may have been someone in the air control tower that put him on that runway, too.
Well, what was the word was the pilot went out there. He was warned not to go out there.
Well, there you go. And he probably thought he was on the right runway, but because he had the thick Asian eyes, he couldn't see because it was raining so hard.
And the control tower couldn't have spotted him on the wrong runway.
Those are all Asians, too. See what I'm saying? So you have to understand that. You got to be a pilot, and you have to understand, and I appreciate the people calling your show tonight, Phil, but I have flown for 20 years, so I know what I'm talking about.
You're telling me that a bunch of Asians in the control tower and an Asian pilot on the ground with the with
the slant eyes, yeah.
All right, I don't want to use that term. They don't see as much as we do.
No, because our eyes are more open. If you look at a regular, your eyes are more open, but an Asian guy is. It's like he's squinting or something. I don't know what the hell's wrong.
All right, hold on for a minute. Is he serious? 1-800-449-8686. We're talking with Art Griego, private pilot, about the wrongful death lawsuit filed against Singapore Air by a woman whose husband died in that crash. He is maintaining there is no such thing as wrongful death in aviation. It is all God's will, and when your number's up, your number is up. Now, that last caller pointed out that they weren't even in the air. They hit debris on a runway, the Singapore Airjet did. He said because he's an Asian pilot, his eyes aren't as wide open as regular Caucasian eyes are. as well as the guys in the control tower. 1-800-449-8686, Phil Hendry Show. This is the Phil Hendry Show. We're talking with private pilot Art Griego about the woman who is suing Singapore Air. You remember the Singapore Airlines jet that crashed on the runway? Was it last month? And the crash, when was that? Last month, yeah, and a lot of people died, obviously, in the crash. This lady's husband was among them. She is filing a wrongful death lawsuit against the airline. She filed it in federal court. She lives in Mesa, Arizona. Art is telling us, you don't believe in wrongful death.
No, I don't. I think that when your time is up...
Is that the reason why you wouldn't take the yoke of that plane? That you were talking about an incident in '87 where you jumped from the plane rather than try and help land it?
Well, that's part of it, Phil. I think any real pilot would tell you, when your number's up, your number's up. You get out of bed every morning, you spit into your hands, maybe run a little bit through your hair, and you just look out there and you know that God's really the only thing that's going to help you. God runs your life that day. And I remember saying, as I prepared to jump from that plane, I looked back at Ned and I said, God bless you, but there's absolutely nothing I can do for you now. And besides, I am not licensed for this kind of craft. And I leapt. And let me tell you something, Phil. I jumped 30 feet from that aircraft while it was going probably about 50 miles an hour. And broke my leg and my collarbone. So I can tell you that was rough going.
Yeah, but that guy died.
But his number was up. You see, mine wasn't. And so...
Well, so yours was more painful?
Well, yeah. Because his number was up. All he had to do was die.
Well, all right. 1-800-449-8686. Here is John on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello, John.
Yes.
Go ahead, sir. You're on the air.
What is wrong? This man is a pilot, a licensed pilot?
Yes, sir.
And he wouldn't take over controls of an airplane?
I was not licensed for that aircraft, sir. Well, my license is...
So there's a wrong aircraft. I didn't have a license when I had to land an airplane. I had to fly it across the country
because
true. The pilot passed out.
Well,
I grabbed the controls because I saw him laying against the wheel, and I was sitting in the first seat.
Right, but
in the passenger section.
I had some conjunctivitis.
And all of a sudden,
I didn't
have a license, but I knew how to fly an airplane. I'm not supposed to do that?
No, you were not supposed to do that.
Well, tough. What about all the people who were on that airplane?
Sir, you are breaking federal law.
Well, tough.
You are breaking federal law.
Well, I don't give a damn.
And wait a second. Are you saying you took over? That sounds like something out of a movie. You didn't really do that, did you?
Yes, I did.
Was it a commercial aircraft?
You're damn right.
Oh, bull crap.
No, come on. Wait a second. If the guy says he did it, he did it. You said you jumped 30 feet from a plane.
You think I'm going to go jump out of an airplane and there's
I think you saw
45 people aboard that airplane and I'm going to leave them go flying around with nobody on the controls?
I'll tell you what I think. I think you saw a movie of the week and you decided to just make this up in your head.
I
was there.
For you, baby.
I
I've been
was
flying
there.
since I was a kid, and
I was there.
I can still fly.
What do you mean you had conjunctivitis, Art?
I had conjunctivitis. I couldn't see the runway. So what am I supposed to do? Take a hold of the yoke and then crash it and kill both of us? That's right.
And you got a license, pilot license?
Yes, sir. I have a pilot
How
license.
in the hell do you get a pilot license if you've got that much problems?
Well, you didn't have a license.
I don't need one if I know how to fly.
Let me ask you a question. What do you vector out of?
Say again?
What is your vector?
My vector?
Yes, sir. Yeah, vector 5, or is it a double tree?
I don't even know what you're talking
about.
Well,
what do you fly? Do you fly over under?
I haven't flown for years now.
Have you flown downtown?
But I was flying B-24s.
Oh, you're flying B-24. Was that
in the military?
In the Second World War, or they?
Yes.
Do you fly downtown?
I flew all over the place.
Have you ever flown downtown, though?
What's downtown?
Downtown. Have you ever vectored out of downtown, or?
What
downtown? Let me ask you this: Have you ever
taken? What city you want to talk about?
Well, let's say Phoenix. Have you ever flown through downtown Phoenix?
No, I haven't been to Phoenix.
All right, you've never flown through downtown Phoenix?
Nope.
All right, well then I have a hard time believing your story.
And what difference does it make whether he flew downtown Phoenix?
Have you ever seen a Robert Wagner film?
Nope.
There's a lot of those movies where he takes over the controls of a plane, and that's why I think maybe you saw a Robert Wagner movie.
I got news for you.
All right. He says he's a pilot.
I'd like to get in an airplane and fly with you just to see what the heck you are.
You pass out on me, I'm jumping. You know I'm going to do. You know
yeah,
I'll do that.
jump any time. Don't matter who's aboard the airplane.
No,
How many
sir.
people?
What I'm saying, I respect federal law. The FAA says that I may
I don't
not
give a
operate.
damn about the FAA. When there's an emergency and there's people aboard an airplane and somebody knows how to fly, somebody better grab the control.
Okay, I believe in law, just the same as Mr. Bush
Oh,
does.
big deal.
I believe in the rule of law. And
Okay,
when the FAA
you
says
jump
that I
out
can't,
and let everybody else die. Who cares?
it was his number was up. It was his time.
How do you
Okay?
know?
Because obviously he's not here now, is he?
Oh, you're here because you're a hero. You jumped.
I made a judgment call.
You're a goddamn
How do you
coward.
How do you feel? Yeah, did you hear that?
Would you call me?
I said you're a coward.
Mister, those are fighting words.
Well, come and try me then, baby.
Okay, where are you? Where you at? Come on.
Kingman, Arizona. Come and see me.
Kingman, Arizona. All right, I can vector out of Santa Monica.
Oh, will you shut up? Vector out of Santa
This guy's
Monica.
so phony, I can't
Okay,
believe
you
it.
called me a coward? What's
Damn
your address?
right.
What's your address in Kingman?
Don't give him your address, sir.
I haven't got an address. I live out in the boonies. I retired. I don't fly anymore.
What do you mean you don't have an address? What, do you live in a tree?
Sure. Why not?
You called me a coward. Mister, I believe in the rule of law.
We got it, okay? The man is asking a good question. Why?
You're going to let him call me a coward?
Well, he did, and I wouldn't take it too personally. The fact is, you jumped out of an aircraft with a man unconscious, and it.
Do you have a phone in your tree?
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
what
why
you-
I'm here.
Yeah, that's what you're calling on. For what branch are you on? I bet you.
Can you believe that?
I bet you live in the ugly
I'm on
tree, man.
branch
You hit
8.
every branch on the way down, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Have you got a phone in your tree? Ah. All right, 1-800-449-8686. Here is Maria. Hi, Maria. You're on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, ma'am.
I wanted to say that I do believe that there are some legit cases of wrongful death. If an airline hires a pilot that's mentally incompetent, he takes that plane full of people on a suicide mission because he wants to kill himself. I think
Well, that
there
isn't
you
the
have
case
wrongful
here.
death.
Well, that wasn't the case in Singapore.
Well, but he's saying there are no cases of wrongful death.
Well, that's
I
exact-
also
I'm
want
saying-
to say, I just want to make
I'm
two
saying
comments. And one about this
aviation,
man
okay.
that decided not
Aviation.
to save this gentleman's life.
I jumped from the plane,
Because
yes.
he wanted to lose, because he was afraid of losing his license.
Yes, ma'am.
And God wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. Mister, you know nothing about God, but when he
Oh,
comes
I
to
see.
judge
You
you
know
for
all about
making
God.
that decision,
I have been flying
you're
for
gonna
20
wish
years,
that
lady.
you went
I'm
down
a
with
lot
that plane.
closer to
'Cause
God than you are.
You
I'm a
are
lot
a coward,
closer to
honey.
God.
You're not a real
I'm
man, and you're a
closer to
coward,
God.
and God help you.
Hey, you know what? God said to me, jump. What do you think of that?
Oh, so,
Yeah.
you need to get
God
this
told-
lunatic off your show.
God told me to jump because the guy was unconscious and his number was up. And I'll tell you something else,
God.
sweetheart. The
I
next time
really
you
don't
go
have
flying
anything else to
somewhere,
say. He's making a fool of himself.
no,
on his
the
own.
next time you go flying somewhere and the plane
Thank
crashes,
you, Phil.
don't call me.
Have
and
a great night.
Don't cry to me when you die.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. What's that mean? Don't cry to you when she dies.
Because the next plane flight she takes, and there's a very good chance every time you fly in an airplane that it's going to go nose first into a mountain. And when she sees herself winging her way to heaven or wherever direction she's going, don't come crying to me. Don't come haunting my house.
All right, Art, you're saying a lot of things here that are disturbing people, okay?
Like what?
Like the fact that you jumped out of an airplane when you could have saved a man's life,
I had conjunctivitis.
so you couldn't see it.
No, my eye was inflamed. I wasn't rated for the aircraft. The door was open. I'd already got the door open. By the time I reached over to try to correct that plane, we would have been on the ground. Two of us would have been dead. Better than I saved me. He was already unconscious. He was a diabetic. The guy was 40 pounds overweight. He should have died years ago. They'd already had to amputate one of his feet. I figure I did him a favor. Jesus.
All right. Oh, man. All right, 1-800-449-8686. This is the Phil Hendry Show, back with Art Griego in a moment. Phil Hendry Show. Art Griego is a pilot. You're a private pilot, Art? Is that what you are?
Yeah, I'm a private pilot.
But yet you fly some businessmen on short jaunts?
Yeah, I fly from Santa Monica to Santa Barbara.
Are you licensed to do that?
Well, all right, I don't have a commercial license, but I do it for friends, and
Do you take payment for that?
you know something, Phil, this isn't about me.
No, I'm just wondering. You're not a commercial pilot.
No, I do not have a transport license.
Aren't you violating the law?
You know something? Here's the deal. And
Aren't you violating the law?
if I had landed that plane, okay, you're asking me about that plane.
You're violating the law by transporting.
If I had landed that plane with conjunctivitis, a medical condition, and the FAA found out, I would have been fined up to $1,000 or up to 60 days in jail. So keep your eye on that.
And what is this stuff about the Singapore Air's jet crashed because Asian pilots have more slanted eyes and they don't see as much?
Well, I mean, that's my opinion, and I think it's common knowledge among a lot of pilots. Asian pilots are good pilots, but they just, because of it stands to reason, they have more, their eyes are more slanted, so they don't see out. The lid isn't open as much, and they're not seeing out.
Oh, so World War II, when they flew over Pearl Harbor and turned that into a junkyard, what do you call that?
Let me ask you a question.
What do you call World War II when they flew over Pearl Harbor and turned the whole thing into a junkyard? What do you call that?
How come they can't drive?
Well, I don't know how they
can't drive for the same reason, okay? And
well, how is it that Japanese pilots who have slanted eyes saw real good when they were bombing Pearl Harbor?
How come Japanese drivers are always running into cars and stuff? I say that...
Well, what's the answer to my question? I'll answer your question.
Okay. I think it's because the Japanese pilots in World War II had a damn good plane. They had the Japanese Zero. You know what? Your kid could fly that plane. A monkey could fly that plane. A monkey could get behind the controls of a Jap Zero and drop all kinds of ordnance on Pearl Harbor, and there wouldn't be a soul left standing, and then you put the ape back in the cage. That's how easy that plane is to fly. Now answer my question.
Why, the Japanese can't drive?
Yeah.
Because they're new to the rules of the road of America.
Oh, what a load. Because they're new to...
And also, Japan, they happen to drive on the left-hand side of the street in Japan.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. I've been to Japan. They drive on the left-hand side of the street the same way they do. I can't believe I'm having this discussion with you. It's unbelievable.
They don't. They drive on the right-hand side.
No, they don't.
You told me they did.
China, they do. Over here in Japan, they drive on the left. Here is, let's talk to Kim. Hi, Kim. You're on the Phil Hendry Show. All right, Kim's gone. Here is Ventura, Bobby in Ventura on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, man? Hey, I'll tell you what, that question you asked about that Singapore Airlines jet, you bet they're liable. You don't turn a 747 full of people down a closed runway.
No, they're not liable for anything.
Yeah, they are. You don't drive a 747 into a concrete...
That happened to be an act of God, and their time was up. There's no wrongful death in aviation, Bobby. I'm a pilot, and I happen to know.
Wait, you ain't no
I'm a pilot.
Pal.
I happen to know.
You don't jump out of an airplane going 50 miles
what do
an
you
hour.
know
That
about it?
airplane won't fly 50 miles an
What
hour.
do you know about it?
Stalled and fallen on the runway before you could have got out of it.
It was landing.
It was landing. It
Yes,
doesn't
sir.
even fly
If you're
50
going to
miles
land an
hour with
aircraft
the
on a
flaps
runway,
out.
you have to slow it down.
And how did? Yeah, but
Okay.
it doesn't fly at
You don't
50 miles
land
an
an
hour.
aircraft at
The speed of
300
that
miles.
aircraft's about 70 knots.
You don't land an aircraft at 300 miles an hour.
No, you landed at 70 knots.
Okay, the guy was unconscious. What do you want me to do about it? I wasn't flying it, he was.
Be a hero.
That's why I jumped out.
But let's
But
get
you,
back to
Bobby,
the-
you know what you would have done?
jumped
You
out
would have
and
taken the
rode
controls of the
airplane.
plane, and it still would have crashed.
You
Not
didn't
me, friend.
jump out of an airplane.
Yes, I did.
Well, let's just
Are you a
talk
pilot?
about the Singapore
Are you
Airlines
a
thing.
pilot?
That's what Phil
All right,
wants
hold
to
on
talk
for a minute.
about.
All
Phil
right,
took
yeah,
it-
see you later. St. Louis, this is Stephen. You're on the Phil Hendry Show. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
First of all, I can't believe that anybody would think that if there was passengers or even himself on a plane, something happens to the pilot that he couldn't reach over, grab the stick, and land the plane.
Look, this isn't a movie we're in. This is real life.
He says he can't
This
do it.
is
His
real
license
life.
wouldn't allow it. Federal regulations.
That's right, federal
I tell you
regulation.
what, they're not going to take you to jail
You know what?
for
Right
saving
now,
lives and landing a plane. They're not
right
going to give
now,
you a fine.
we have
they're
a
not
guy
going to take your
who
license from
is
you.
running for president of the United
It
States,
happens all the
who
time.
wants
You hear
to be
about it all the time where people
president.
are taking over because a pilot.
You know, this
has
is
passed
nobody
out,
is
went in
listening
a
to anybody.
diabetic shot,
This is
whatever.
nobody's listening to anybody. I'm not, I'm not going to go on with this hour. It's done. It's over. I'm through. Nobody is listening to anybody, and I'm getting a freaking headache listening to this crap. Okay, so good luck, Art, and, happy trails, man. I just hope I'm not on any plane that you're flying, but then again, you're not licensed, are you? He wouldn't be licensed for that.